Hey guys, I want to talk to you a little bit today about some relationship dynamic stuff. This is going to be a really roundabout way to deliver the end of the message that I want the takeaway of this one to be. So if you don't want to listen through all of what I'm about to talk about, basically the short message of the video today is to not settle. Don't settle when if you are looking for a marriage or a long-term relationship or whatever, just don't settle, right? We all know that. I want to elaborate a little bit more on this and just tell you a little bit of a story about how this thought crossed my mind. This actually just floated through my brain last night. I was having a conversation with a woman that I just met, and I want to tell you guys a little something interesting about my life. You might have picked up bits and pieces of this in some of the other talks. I don't really talk a lot about my career and what I do, but I have a career that I travel constantly, and I'm extremely fortunate. I'm extremely lucky. I get to travel to foreign countries all the time. I go around the world, and I just get to engage and meet different people. I'm so fascinated. That's one of the things I just love about my job, and I love to meet people all around the world and see how they're different, see how we're similar, just to get to know people. And I don't have one of those lives where, like, believe me, I don't have a dedicated girlfriend at every port kind of thing, but I do just plainly like to meet people in general. And, if some sort of romance or some sort of spark occurred with anybody that I might meet anywhere, that's great. That's cool. That would be exciting. That would be fun. I'm at the point in life now where I'm kind of tired of playing. I'm ready to settle down and do my thing. I'm almost 40, and that's really what I'm after. That's what I'm desiring in my life. So just to give you a little context about where I'm at, but I want to tell you a little story about a girl that I met in Taipei. I was in Taiwan last week, and I met with her. We ended up staying in touch, and we're just shooting some messages back and forth, just kind of being friendly. And who knows if I'll ever see her again. But part of the story, like I began to tell you, is that just how much I love to get to know people on a different level. Just talk about them or talk with them about their psychology and things they're going through in their lives, the things they're feeling. And we, of course, just started to talk about dating. Hey, why are you single? What are you looking for? Like all this kind of stuff. And she said something that really struck a nerve with me. And she just mentioned that where she's living at, she just feels like most guys in our generation are just not interested in settling down anymore. Everybody just wants to date and hook up and do all this kind of stuff. And nobody's interested in being in a committed relationship anymore. And this really struck a little bit of a nerve inside of me because I can identify with that. I think for all of us, I'm from the United States. If you guys are living in the U.S., I'm certain you'd agree. And for all you guys living in other parts of the world, I would love to know if you feel the same way about the typical guy, let's say in the between 20 years and 40-year-old age range sort of thing, or single guys in general. In your countries, are most guys not so interested in settling down anymore? Are they just seeming to be non-committal or just wanting to keep dating and doing whatever? I think I get the feeling now this is kind of a common theme. I've met a few women around Asia. I've met a few women in Europe. I've met a few women in South America, and they all seem to say similar things. It's very peculiar and fascinating that a lot of the same sorts of things are going on around the world with just guys in general. But she was asking me if it was like that back home where I'm from in the United States. And I'm like, yeah, quite honestly, yes, it is like that. I do feel like the average guy these days is not so geared for that, just to immediately jump in and want to talk marriage and want to do all this kind of stuff. A lot of guys they want to keep dating around and doing all this and that. And we started to have a little talk, and I was reflecting on some things that I thought were very relevant. And she was just asking me like, well, why is that? And in my perspective, this boils down to a number of factors as I see it, and you guys might disagree or agree with this. This might piss some people off. This might really identify with some people. Who knows? But this is just what I feel and what I sense. And I could just throw a couple things at you in no particular order here, but just at least for guys in the United States, I think in general, why so many men are just, you want to say like anti-committal or not willing to jump in and be committed is because I feel like in the present day and age, the dynamics have changed so incredibly much in our present day and age. Let me just start with, I don't know about you guys out there in the world, but in the United States, the divorce laws are freaking insane. They are out of control to the point where a man will much more readily find himself in financial ruin if a divorce comes to pass at any point in time than most women will. It's just such a huge deal. It's like this, what I see, this merciless system towards men that, like, right then and there, that's one very big thing on the front end that I notice and I see. But the other things that I've seen as a common theme, and is more of a behavioral thing about why I haven't been willing to commit to any of the women that have come through my life in the past, is that, sadly enough, I can't tell you, the last couple of relationships I've been in, I've done all the cooking. I've done all the cleaning. I've fixed all the shit around the house. I've made most of the money. I've planned all the dates. I've paid for all the dates. I've done like everything. When we're together, we're hanging out, we're doing this and that. It has been very one-sided for me. I can't tell you guys the last time in the past, like, let's say, I don't know, at least 5 years of dating many different women. I can't tell you the last time that I've spent boatloads of money doing fun shit, taking girls out to nice dates, like doing all this and that for like weeks and months at a time in some cases. I can't tell you the last time a girl said, hey, that was all really cool and I appreciate that. That was nice of you. Like, I'm inviting you over to my house and I'm going to cook you dinner. I can't remember the last time that happened, just like on a person's own accord. And you might say maybe I'm selecting the wrong people, maybe I'm dating the wrong people, but I've dated a lot of women, and this has been a common thing. This is like, I don't know what it is in general, but I feel like more of the women than not in my present day and age, in my present space, behave in this way, and they don't seem to bring, I don't want to say anything to the table, but they're not like partners. They're not like, there's not this mutual reciprocity. In all of my relationships, it has been very one-sided. And that element in and of itself, just that was enough to make me just think, hey, fuck this. Like, I'm not marrying a person like this. I'm not going to settle down and give my everything, give my future, share my wealth, share my time, share my everything, do the things that I do in the relationship. Once again, I really mean this. I do all the cooking. I do all the cleaning. I put all the effort in a lot of the times, and it's not returned. And it's like, the girls that I've had in general, they just seem to want to show up and have good times and get taken care of and do all this kind of stuff. And that's great. That's part of what being in a healthy relationship is all about, is the other person taking care to some extent of their partner. But that's got to come back at you guys in the same way. Like, they've got to shine back at you with the same light that you're shining upon them with. They have to do these things that return the love and the favor. And like I said, that's the biggest missing piece. And every woman that I have this sort of talk with, I don't go directly and probe and ask these sorts of pointed questions right to them, but I'll kind of skirt around the issue to see how they feel about it. And I'll ask them, like, well, when was the last time you did something really nice for your man? Like, what was it that you did nice for your man? Like, what do you do, like, after a guy takes you out for a really nice dinner and spends all his money and does all this stuff and plans an awesome date and yada, yada, yada? What is your return of that love? And a lot of times you just get these dumb, stupid, blind stares back from people, or you get some weird response to a message like this, and it just, like, it shocks the hell, I think, out of a lot of women. I don't know what it is psychologically with, like, what I perceive to be the present day and age woman in general. Maybe I'm way off the mark here, but I guarantee you some of you guys out there that are listening have seen and felt this and know this reality in completeness. So I know I'm striking a nerve with some of you guys, but I want those things. Like, I do want to get married. I do want to settle down. I do want to do all those things, but I am not going to do it. And that's the place that I'm at in my life. I would rather be single for the rest of my life till the day I die than to get committed to a woman who doesn't return anything in the relationship, that doesn't do anything in the relationship, that's just there, like, almost in a way to be a drag on me, right? I'm putting in all this effort and they don't do anything. I won't do that. I've had 2 or 3 of my good guy friends get committed, get into relationships like that, have kids, be married to women just like this. And it's the saddest thing to watch the misery that these guys are going through in their lives for, I don't think, a good reason. Once you got kids in the mix, okay, you got to do what you got to do. But God damn, like, I think, their picker was a little off in the beginning, but I think a lot of them caved to the society pressures. A lot of them caved in. It's like, well, I got to get married now. I'm a certain age and I'm never going to find another one, or she's really hot and I just, whatever. Like, guys cave in for all sorts of reasons. Guys get married for all sorts of reasons like that I think at the end of the day are kind of the wrong reasons. I mean, I think, Each and every one of you guys out there, like I said, to connect the dots back to the very first thing I told you, you need to be picky, you need to be selective. You need to not settle, guys. Okay, don't settle in just because society says it's your time, just because you feel like your biological clock is ticking, just because you feel like you're never going to get another one that looks this hot. You need to hold out for a woman that puts in an equal amount of effort to what you're putting in right now. If you're okay being the caretaker and you're okay just doing all that shit the rest of your life, then more power to you. Have at it. That's up to you. But I don't think that's right. I don't think you guys should stand for that. I don't stand for that. That's not the way I'm leading my life. And it bothers me when women talk about the non-committal nature of men these days, and they wonder why. I mean, a lot of the girls, like I said, that I've met, I'm like, you wonder why guys don't want to commit to you, right? But what do you do? What do you bring to the relationship? When's the last time you showed an equal amount of love to your partner that they showed to you? A lot of them, they don't have a good answer for that, and it's sad. And I don't know what changed. I think this is a generational thing. I think for some reason, I think a lot of women these days are just brought up to think that like they shouldn't do anything for their man. I don't know where that comes from. I mean, there's a whole other element of psychology to unpackage here, but I don't think that's right. And I know some of you guys and girls out there are going to agree and disagree, but this is just my perspective. It's nothing more than that. This is what I've seen and felt and experienced in my life. Feel free to correct me. Feel free to ring in with whatever expertise and whatever life experience you have. But I think a lot of you guys out there are going to identify with this. And like I said, the only reason that I'm talking about this today is I want to remind you guys not to settle. Hold out for that chick that does bust her ass in the relationship the same way you do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they don't exist. They are definitely out there. There is plenty of women out there that will do that. But it takes a bit of wherewithal inside of you as guys to hold out for that and not settle on somebody that does anything but that, okay? All right, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon.